What's up, guys? This is the 6th installment of the TOBEs.
The TOBEs.
Think Outside the Box episode.
Yes.
We just try to give you topics or facts or just information or just something cool that we stumbled upon that...
thought-provoking.
Yeah, that normally you wouldn't think about. So I'll go ahead and start this week.
What you got, sir?
It sounds weird, and it sounds not interesting.
Okay.
But I'm going to talk about lunch laws in Ohio.
Like at work, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because I think there's a lot of ambiguity regarding that, you know.
I don't know what that means. But yeah, so...
Things are unclear.
Yeah. So, and it sounds very uninteresting, but let me give a little background on why I want to talk about it, because on Wednesday, maybe? I don't remember what day it was. Yeah, it was Wednesday. I recently sold my truck, and I had to meet the guy at the bank, right? Bank closes at 5.
Okay.
The way my job works is it's really fucking hectic in the morning because we get emails all night, and you got to scramble to get shit done in the morning, and then people are emailing you as well. So the mornings are pretty hectic. The last part of the day is usually a little more chill as long as nothing crazy happens. So with that said, I decided to ask my manager if I can get off at 4 o'clock on Wednesday instead of early in the morning. That way I can meet this guy at the bank before they close. Okay. We can do whatever we got to do.
Yep.
She said, cool, right? And then I messaged her in the middle of the day and said, hey, is it okay if I just don't take a lunch? That way I can still get my full 8 hours, 8 to 4.
I ask that at my place of employment all the time too.
Right.
With the same answer.
That way.
I wonder what you got told.
That way I don't have to use an hour of PTO, right? I'll just work through it. And typical, you guys are probably already thinking it. They said it's by law in Ohio.
Yes.
You have to take at least a half-hour lunch.
Okay. That's what the number was I was getting confused on.
False.
So they have to give you a lunch?
No. You are not required to take a lunch. Now, this is in Ohio. I believe everybody that's going to see this is also in Ohio. But let me explain why I know this and how I know this to be 100% fact that you do not have to take a lunch. Because let me throw it back to my McDonald's days.
Okay. When
I worked with Tom, right? And a lot of other people, Patty Light as well.
Okay.
Shout out, Patty.
Yes.
Fuck Tom. No. But back in the McDonald's days, started when I was like 15 and a half. And everybody always said, like, when somebody's 18th birthday comes up, usually the day before or whatever, they said, enjoy your last lunch. Because when you turn 18, you're no longer required to be given a lunch. So a lot of times at McDonald's and a lot of fast food places,
they don't give you lunches?
You're not given a lunch.
Really?
Right. They don't have to. If you're over 18 in Ohio,
whether you work 4 hours or 8, it doesn't matter.
Right. No.
Wow.
Now, I think maybe if it's over 8, maybe then they're required to give you an unpaid break. But in an 8-hour shift, you are not required to take a lunch. Now, they can offer it to you. It may be a store policy,
right?
That you have to take a lunch, which is why I said I think before we recorded, or I know before we recorded, I brought this up to a manager before. And I've only taken it so far because a lot of these companies that I work for are national companies. They're not like local companies or whatever. They're national companies. So they got a lot of different laws everywhere and whatever. But like everybody else, they said you're required to take a half-hour lunch by law. I just said, okay, I understand. Just bit my tongue because I'm not trying to open that can of worms. I've done it before at my previous job just to see.
Right.
But I've looked up on like Ohio's website, on government websites, on things like that. They are not required to give you a lunch.
Okay. It explicitly state it just doesn't you found a specific information that says, hey, it is not required, rather than finding that it is.
Right. It is not required if you're over 18. If you are under 18, they are required.
Okay.
I think it's in a 6-hour shift, you have to have at least a half-hour lunch.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're over 18, you are not by law required. The company is not required to give you a lunch.
Damn, that seems so unfair, though. But it
Right.
depends on what you do.
Right.
I agree with that, too. But
yeah, so when I turned 18 at McDonald's, I stopped getting lunches.
Okay. Damn, I didn't even know that was the fast
unless
food
we
world,
were
bro.
slow enough and maybe I asked for one and it was okay and we had time or whatever, we had coverage.
When did they expect?
But
you got 15s though? Can you?
Yeah,
talk on that?
you still get breaks. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But you are not, and this is worded as the business, not as the employee. So the business is not required to give you a lunch. So everybody that bitches all the time that I wasn't given a lunch, blah blah blah, I'm gonna sue. Nope.
Wow.
Can't do that. Now, again, it could be a company policy, and that's different. A company policy states that you will have to take a half-hour lunch. Okay, you can't argue with that. But when they say by law you have to take a half-hour lunch, no, the fuck you don't.
Yeah, when I think about where I work, every time I've heard that law word, it didn't come from management. Now that I really think about it, I've never once heard, it's always somebody that works there be like, oh, no, it's a law. You have to.
Well, management will tell you that, though, too.
I'm just saying, I thought I heard that from them before, but now I think about it, it's been an employee every other
They
time.
just don't know. And, again, with my previous company that I was with, that I was kind of on my way out. I knew I was going to be leaving soon and things like that. So, again, my mouth gets me in trouble a little bit. But I had a pretty high position. And I was respectful about it. I said, hey, I understand what you're saying, but according to the law here, you are not required to give me a lunch. If I opt to not take it, you cannot throw one in there, basically, because the way it worked, and a lot of people used to get upset, and I kind of started a mini, what's it called? What's it called when, like, they overtake the ship? Mutiny. Like a mini mutiny. Because at the old place I work, actually I'll say it, fuck it, StarTech, fuck you. They, if you worked over 8 hours without a lunch, they claimed that the system would input a half-hour lunch for you.
What?
Because by law, it has to, and it's programmed that way. As a manager, I could tell you it did not do that.
And that's bullshit if it did anyways.
Right. But they're saying it's your fault at that point because we are giving you a lunch. You're just not taking it. No, you can't
just.
Well,
all right.
I will say at StarTech, the schedule is mapped out. So it'll tell you at 2:15 you get a 15-minute break. At 4:30 you get your half-hour lunch. At 7 you get a 15-minute break, and then you leave at 9 or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So it's all mapped. If you didn't take it, that's on you at that point.
Okay.
That was their thing. But a lot of managers would input a half-hour lunch under the thinking that
it's a law.
It's a law, so it's on you for not taking it.
Damn,
and they would
that's
actually
crazy.
take your money.
Wow.
Because they would basically go in the system and clock you out for 30 minutes and then, take a half hour of your money every day.
That's corrupt as
and
shit.
I sent them the document in Ohio and things like that. I said, this is not a law. And I don't want to take lunches because at this point I was working hourly and in a training position and things like that and working a fuck ton of hours. And they kept saying, hey, you got to take a lunch. And I'm like, I can't afford to with my workload. And they're like, you have to. So a lot of times I would clock out but still be working and clock back in. And at that point, that's on me.
Right.
Because I didn't have to keep working, but I did. But that's just kind of the workaholic in me. But, yeah, by Ohio law, look it up on Ohio's website or whatever. The business is not required to give you a lunch after you're 18. So what that means is you are not required to take a lunch. Now, again, if they say you can only work an 8-hour shift and we need you here from 8 to 5 and you can't do 8 to 4, you have to do 8 to 5, that's implying that you have to take an hour off somewhere. Again, it's just not a law. So be weary of that. Don't don't be like going at people about it because they're just not going to like it. Yeah. Right. And they're probably just going to hit you with some bullshit and HR shit. But it's just crazy that we've all heard this.
Man.
Millions and millions of times. It is not an actual
And it sounds
law.
like something that would be.
Right. Some states have
workers'
it.
rights, like
some states have
they
it.
need that break to recuperate or eat. Right. That would be nice in and of itself. So
right. Some states have it. Ohio does not.
Wow.
Yep. And
good to know, man.
I mean, at the same time, think about it this way. The factory that I worked at, right?
Yeah.
I was working 13, 14-hour days. Never clocked out. Never was given a lunch. Literally.
And when you wasn't salary?
No, I was hourly, yeah.
Right.
And I kind of took a lunch for a second. I'd grab something to eat and sit in, my office for a minute. But I never clocked out.
Right.
Nobody ever got on me about it or anything like that. But I couldn't clock out,
Right.
I had shit to do. But, yeah, so if your company tells you by law you have to take a lunch, take it as far as you would like. But legally, in Ohio, you are not required to take a lunch.
Good news, man.
It's just interesting.
Yeah.
You can look it up. Fact check it.
Yeah. I feel like it benefits the person to take one. I'll never be like,
unless you're getting overtime.
Yeah, and then like you said, that it should be. I like that.
It's an option.
Right. And with that said, I think it's beneficial for everybody to take a break from what they do. Right. I understand if you want to. I'm not knocking if you want to go that hard, but I'm glad that I think that it's more beneficial than not to at least take a 30 minutes and take a break from what you do. You know what I mean? So
damn, we're at 12 minutes already.
Yeah, I know. Listen, so I'll keep it short and sweet.
These can be as long as you like, Bubba.
We can't have one that's 30 minutes all of a sudden when all the other ones were 10.
Why not? They pay for it.
Okay, I've never heard you make that argument before.
Hey,
but we'll see where this goes. I like mine too, though. And like I said, mine is more of a something to get us to think about. Because, man, like I said, with the whole car dealership thing we talked about on tonight's episode and the corruptness of just businesses and the world in general, here's another kind of instance of that. So I was watching, which is really becoming one of my favorite shows, Adam Knows Everything.
It's pretty good.
Yes. Have you seen the one about the internet monopolies?
No.
Okay, so in a nutshell, there were, when they were building the cable lines to run cable TV, only a few people could afford to do that, and they were doing that. And then down the road, they ended up pretty much figuring out that the easiest way to run internet service is through those same exact cable plugs, rather than trying to build a whole different infrastructure to deal with just internet. So those companies that had their own territorial kind of wires, they could. And then after a while, they decided, like, why are we competing with each other? Like, let's just merge up and charge people whatever the fuck we want to. And on top of that, I think people have a misconception that internet speeds are something that
are finite.
Right.
There's a cap to them.
Yes, a cap. When no, like that, all that is determined by the companies we go through. Mm-hmm. From the 10 megabit plan to all the way up to, they can give everybody 1,000 megabits per second. It wouldn't cost them anything more to do that.
Right.
What the fuck? And we just fall into this and accept these kind of the public though.
Right.
It kind of made me mad when I was watching it. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm paying $75 a month for 100 megabits per second, which gets me everything I want to do. Fine. My shit don't lag.
Right.
Thankfully, the days are over. But you telling me I could get 1,000 and it wouldn't cost my internet provider any more money to give me 1,000? You know what I mean? So what? I started thinking damn, what the fuck can we do to kind of break this shit up? And there's nothing we can do. Do we kind of default almost and are cool with these companies just kind of, I mean, I understand that it ain't like we can just go out and just make our own internet service and just dig our own, oh, fuck, this is how we do it, bro. We just need, like...
I don't know shit about that.
So I think because of that, fuck it, would you rather pay for it?
Right.
100, that's fine. That'll give me what I need to do. But no, fuck that. Fuck that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it just pisses me off that it's greed, man. Just the word sometimes just makes me disgusted.
Right.
With society, because it's so many things boil down to just fucking greed.
It's all marketing and greed at that point.
Oh my God, and fucking manipulation, and it's making you think like, hey, we got the best, bro. Look at these speeds.
It's kind of like Spectrum.
They can't offer you these speeds.
Right.
They can. Shh.
Is Time Warner still around?
Spectrum bought them out.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So in this area where we're at, and it's a pretty big area that I know of, is only Spectrum.
Spectrum is CenturyLink, but they ain't really fucking with. You can still go through CenturyLink, but their speeds are not fucking with Spectrum.
Right.
In any way, shape, or form. I don't even know if they're even continuing with that. But back when I had CenturyLink back in 2008, 2009, 2010, no, I had Time Warner, and then I moved into a place where I was getting a deal by going with CenturyLink for the same speed as Time Warner, so I'm going to do that. And when they were telling me that, like, oh, we're building a fiber optic network, and then when it's all complete, we'll upgrade you free of charge to, I think it would go from like 10 to like 30. Same price. I'm like, cool. That's what's up. Thank you.
They flipped a switch.
Exactly. We feel like, oh, they're doing us a favor, man. Like, damn, they're looking out for us, bro. Look.
Right.
They're going to up my speeds 30 for free.
Right.
Dude.
Well, that was the thing. I remember actually on, I think it was Stadium when we were getting internet there. Or no, it was Poplar when we were getting internet there. And
who'd you have there?
I think it was Time Warner at that time. But I was like, man, this shit's not working. I don't know. We called to get the move of location or address or whatever and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, I called back and tech support couldn't do shit. Got pissed and I called them back again. And I actually got somebody competent, which makes me so fucking happy when that happens. But he goes, hey, I see that that they put your new address in here. Is it this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, cool. You should be good now. And I was like, I said, what? And he said, yeah, they didn't turn it on. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, there's just one like on switch that they didn't hit, and they just didn't turn it on.
And they literally turned it on. It was good.
He said basically every house has a little area like blocked around it on their map or whatever, and they just didn't say this one. That's all they had to do. Just say, yep, we'll give you access here, because it's all satellite.
Right.
The satellite can see everything. Right. It's just not doing that location until they're like, oh, hey, yeah, they want internet too. I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
Just one button.
That is crazy to me. And, we just accept it as you know what I mean? I understand, like, these networks and everything cost money to build and maintain. And, with somebody's idea, they deserve to eat off of that. I don't know if it's justified for you to send me, like, we're going to throttle your shit at this point. And, oh, by the way, we need $80 a month for that.
Right.
And we can up it at any time. If we feel like it, we can charge you $100. What you going to do? Where you going to go?
Right.
Who? CenturyLink? Oh, I doubt it.
Right.
Actually, next year is going to be $85.
Right.
That's true. What are you going to do?
Yep.
What are you going to do?
But if you're a new customer, you'll get it for $49.99. Hey, can I get that new customer plan? No, you've been with us for 7 years, so we got to charge you the $85.
I'm sorry.
Okay, hey, let me cancel. Hey, Steve, you want to put internet in your name? Yeah, sure. Oh, Siri's listening to me.
Bitch, go away.
Siri just said, hey, Steve. Yeah, sure, he will. So I guess you're getting internet in your name. I appreciate you. But yeah, just a different name, same address, and now $49.99.
Right.
Some bullshit.
It is, man. So, as much as I would love to have a grand plan for us to just kind of normalize the shit, it is what it is, I guess. We just got to depend on the people at the top being less greedy. Right.
Not going to happen.
Fuck life.
I mean, I enjoy life.
Not really, but
Peace. Hey guys, thanks for checking out that bonus episode from the Patreon. If you like what you see, please subscribe, share the video, like the video, all that kind of stuff. Tell a friend. And if you want to see more of these bonus episodes 3 months before the public, sign up for our Patreon. We release new episodes every week and a ton of other bonus content. You can join for as little as $2 a month. Other than that, we do have merch options and all that kind of stuff. Follow us on socials and everything like that as well. But we do appreciate the support. Have a good day.